Welcome to my Birds of Prey spoiler review discussion about the newest movie in the DCEU, Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I did my non-spoiler review late last week when I saw the movie Friday morning, and by now I feel like most of you have either seen the movie or you haven't really decided if you even care. So if you have not seen the movie, of course, I recommend going to go see it because I did say it was a pretty fun movie. Not the best movie ever made. Certainly not the best DC movie or DCEU movie, but it is on the upper tier of recent DC movies. It's definitely up there, and I did enjoy it more than Suicide Squad. And I think the reason for that is because this movie felt like it had a sense of direction, something that the DCEU have lacked. This movie had a sense of purpose. The movie did a great job of establishing Harley Quinn as being her own sort of person, but unfortunately the film has flopped. I mean, it just has not done well in the box office, which is of course the main indicator that studios look at to see whether or not a film is successful, and this just simply was not. And I'm wondering if it has to do with people being concerned that maybe it's woke, which it's not, by the way. It's a very un-PC movie, trust me. Or I wonder if it has to do with just the timing of it coming out. You know, maybe this time of year people aren't really wrapped up in the movie scene. I mean, obviously the Academy Awards just happened, but outside of that, you know, the hot movies don't start until April. But I did like this movie. I'm going to go ahead and go into spoilers now. So the opening scene that showed like the animated origin story of Harley Quinn, I loved it because it was Harley Quinn and it was Joker from the Batman animated series. Obviously, we didn't have Mark Hamill or even Jared Leto. I didn't even see him in this making a cameo, but I loved it and I thought it was perfect because with that being established, you don't have to watch Suicide Squad. In fact, you can skip Suicide Squad altogether and never even have seen it and see Birds of Prey first if you want, even though it takes place after. I thought that, you know, upon the second viewing of this movie, it was way better, I think, as far as the whole confusing aspect of the first quarter, of the first half of the movie. You know, the first act, really, not the first quarter or half, the first third of the movie has some non-linear storytelling where it bounces back and forth between, you know, one timeline and another. And it's a lot easier on second viewing. Plus, I actually liked it more. I actually thought that helped. If the movie had just been linear, I feel like that would have made it just more average, you know what I mean? Doing the non-linear thing is a trick that Quentin Tarantino kind of mastered with Pulp Fiction so many years ago, and even Reservoir Dogs. Not the first movie to ever have done it, but, you know, the first movie of that kind to really have, you know, integrated that kind of storytelling into it, more like a novel in some cases. But this movie does, you know, its absolute best and tries so hard to be a comic book movie that's not afraid to be a comic book movie. You know, you've got Harley Quinn thinking as the narrator, telling you the story, and she says at the very beginning of the movie, "This is my story. I'm gonna tell it how I want to," and she certainly does. And we have like, I thought they devoted really equal amount of time to developing the other characters, like you know, the police officer, Black Canary, the Huntress. They all kind of got their own development. I like that they saved the Huntress introduction for later in the movie. I feel like had they, you know, the backstory, had they gone over her whole story, like, you know, what happened to her parents with the mafia and everything and all that, I feel like that would have, if they did that at the beginning of the movie, we would have forgotten about her. But the fact that they kind of took their time to get to her part while still teasing the crossbow killer or whatever, that was cool. That was cool, and I really enjoyed that. Like the movie had sort of this film noir thing going for it. You know, even early in the movie, I love how they show the sequence of her actually killing the mobster. Then they have the Rosie Perez character come in and kind of like examine it, and they're both going on at the same time, but with clever editing. You know, she's kind of doing a voiceover for what already happened. That was a really well executed scene. Victor Zaz, I mean, he was a great villain throughout the entire movie. And yo, I don't know about you, but Ewan McGregor looked like a twisted up evil version of Elton John, yo. Like the way he was dressing, the way he was acting. You know, Ewan McGregor had so much fun playing Black Mask in the movie. And I love how at the end, you know, I have your ring, and it was the grenade, and he blew into pieces. And it was so like nonchalant. You know, people were talking about how this movie's very violent. It's the same with BS we hear with every movie. It's too violent. It's not a good role model for women. The same nonsense we always hear. It's not supposed to be. This movie's not supposed to be a role model movie. It's about villains. It's like Suicide Squad. The movie is about Harley Quinn, who is a villain. She's an anti-hero. At the very least, an anti-hero. She is the Joker's girlfriend. And the whole story is her trying to get out of just being that and kind of getting respect as being Harley Quinn. And she's, of course, changed by her relationship in the movie with the other characters, specifically Cassandra Cain. Like, that's really who kind of makes her kind of realize that, you know, sometimes it's cool just having a friend versus being a villain. But there's this awesome scene where, you know, the scene where they're shopping, right? And she's like, oh, I'm not going to buy all this. I'm not shopping. I'm going to rob this place. And then she runs out and hits the guy in the knee. That was kind of stupid only because the alarm didn't sound. At least I don't remember it sounding. It could have been executed better, but it was funny. It was a good comedy scene. Again, this is not supposed to be a movie that's like supposed to teach little girls how to act. It's just a stupid, fun comic book movie. Like, people need to get their heads out of their asses for these movies, yo. It's not that serious, guys. It's not that serious. So I like that, and I liked how Cassandra Cain, right, when you're watching the film, she kind of is like the connective tissue. She's the one that kind of brings all the characters together because she has that relationship with Black Canary. Earlier in the movie, Canary gives her some money for food because she's got kind of like her parents are kind of fighting all the time, and she has like a rough childhood, or so it's implied. We don't really see too much of that. They could have given us more on that. They didn't. It's fine. I would have wanted to see more, though. That was kind of they were lacking on that. But I don't hate the movie for it. And I like how, you know, at the end of the day, she wound up being the target. She wound up being the MacGuffin because she found the diamond and swallowed it. And, you know, the whole movie is... And one thing I thought that was BS. There's some BS about the movie, even though they kind of explain it, is that she literally goes like a whole day without taking a dump. And they're actually trying to get her to take a dump because Harley Quinn wants her to crap out the diamond. So she's giving her laxatives and things like that. Maybe she does have a cast iron stomach. I mean, they gave her a burrito at the end of the movie, kind of making fun of that. But I don't know, man. Laxatives supposed to work really quickly, especially on kids, yo. So I feel like it would have I thought what was going to happen, yo. And this is just kind of me thinking in my own brain. When Black Mask has her up by the bridge and Harley Quinn confronts him and shoots and misses or whatever, I thought she was going to take a dump on him. I thought she was going to literally take a shit like right on his shoes. He was going to get distracted and then Harley was going to knock him off the bridge. I thought they were going to go with that. She was going to crap out the diamond, or maybe he would have grabbed the diamond and gone in the water with it or something, you know, died that way, you know. But him getting blown to pieces makes sense because we're never going to see him again. I thought it was interesting that we didn't see much of the Joker. Well, none of the Joker in the movie. I was totally expecting a cameo. We did not get it. There's rumors, and I don't know if it's true. Let me know in the comments if you heard this is true, but that there is stuff that Jared Leto shot for this movie that they cut out. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea, but I was actually kind of waiting for him to show up in the movie and for her to actually confront him or them to get back together, and it didn't happen, and I was happy it didn't happen. Not because I'm some feminist, because I'm not, but because this is her story. It doesn't matter what gender you are or any of that stuff. This is the Harley Quinn movie. That's what this is. The other characters have their stories, and they all have sympathetic backstories by being, you know, villains, even though the Birds of Prey get formed at the end of the movie, and Harley Quinn is not one of them. She's off with Cassandra, which I guess the story is that Cassandra's gonna just be Harley Quinn's friend, or is she actually gonna adopt her? Like, I wasn't sure where they were going with that. You know, maybe I missed it. I don't know. But yeah. And I also thought, like, they had little stuff in that I love, like, you know, when they're making fun of how Renee Montoya, the cop, you know, Rosie Perez's character, talks like every single cop in an 80s movie. They had some good meta stuff there. The soundtrack was also pretty impressive. I enjoyed the soundtrack a lot. I thought it was effective too. And it didn't come off like forced. There was that one Captain Marvel-esque moment in it, you know, because there's, you know, like I said, Harley's a little bit of a Mary Sue in the movie in the sense of she does make mistakes, or she's not really a Mary Sue, but she takes on entire armies of goons by herself. And unlike Batman, who's like trained by ninja assassins, we don't even know what kind of training she got. We assume the Joker taught her how to fight, like physically, but I don't even remember the Joker being that tough. Even the Jared Leto version, you know, she is taking on multiple goons by herself, doing flip kicks and things like that. The only reason why I'm okay with it, yo, is because it's a comic book movie. And again, you cannot overly dissect these things because we see it all the time. We see it all the time in these movies. So it wasn't really an issue. I feel like, the movie, it got an R rating, but it's really not that crazy. It's not that violent. They show one dude getting blown to pieces. There's a lot of stabbings in the movie. There's some blood, a lot of profanity and sex jokes, but it's not like we actually see any nudity or anything. I was actually expecting to see boobies in this movie at one point or another. We like exposed ones, and we didn't see it at all. There was some cleavage, but there was no actual nipple. And I was thinking we were gonna see it because it was an R-rated movie, but none of that. It really came off like a harder PG-13. You know what I mean? Like if I saw this movie when I was 13 years old, I would have enjoyed it. I would have had a good time watching it, honestly. The fight in the funhouse, though, with Harley using the giant hand as a weapon and the mallet, that was awesome stuff. I love the water slide, the sequence with, not the water slide, but the slide. The sequence with the slide and Huntress going after that guy, dude, that was awesome. That was good shit. And I'm just surprised because this is it's not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie either. This is the kind of movie you could have on in the background in your house, or you can show it, it's a good movie to watch with your friends. It's a good date movie. It's too bad it flopped. It really is too bad that it flopped because I think it was kind of funny. And I feel like they were, in a way, and maybe it's just me, but they were kind of making fun of wokeness and cancel culture in the movie because it was almost like they were going for this, oh, you want representation? We're going to give it to you with these criminals. You know what I mean? Oh, you want a strong woman? You're going to get one, but it's bad. It's a bad strong woman. You got Wonder Woman. She's the good guy, the good girl, good gal, gadot. Haha, very funny. No, not really. Then you've got Harley Quinn, who is the opposite of that. And I like that. I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. And I'm hoping that for Wonder Woman 84, we see both sides in that movie as well, which I think we will see. I think we'll see both. Patty Jenkins is a great director. But this was, man, I enjoyed it. I really did. Not the best movie ever, but definitely top tier. It's a very colorful, very vibrant movie. The opposite of Batman v Superman, which has that kind of dark and gloomy vibe to it. This movie was very lighthearted. It felt like Ant-Man, like Shazam, except way edgier, with way more dirty jokes. I guess it was sort of like Deadpool. Yeah, in a way, it's kind of like DC's version of Deadpool, I would say, except nowhere close to being as violent. So, but good. It's still good enough. It still entertained the hell out of me, and that's important. Like I said, I hope that we haven't seen the end of Margot Robbie as, Harley Quinn. She's good as Harley Quinn. She's funny. She can be a little bit of annoying, honestly, a little bit annoying, but I would like to see her play this character going forward. If they make more movies, if they make another Birds of Prey film with the actual Birds of Prey, and she's the villain, or if we have another Joker movie. Obviously, Joaquin Phoenix and her are not in the same universe. It would have to be the Jared Leto Joker. It wouldn't be a Joker movie. It would be something else. But didn't DC once say they had 3 Joker movies in development at the same time? I know Red Letter Media made jokes, and Red Letter Media said it was 4 of them with Daniel Radcliffe as the Joker. I love Red Letter Media. But anyways, nah, man, I did like this film. The scene at the police station was, again, a little over the top, but I have to excuse it only because it is a comic book movie. But again, it's a Batman-based movie, so we have, more realistic stuff. Then again, we have Black Canary using her powers. And I like the fact that they saved it. I did like that they saved the Black Canary scream for the end. I did like that. That was pretty smart. So, what did you think about Birds of Prey? I'm guessing most of you who already saw it, right? Who are going to see it. And some of you who are not going to see it, well, you didn't see it. Hopefully you did not watch this review. Unless you just don't care about spoilers, which I understand, because this is not one of those movies that is yo, you need to be in the theater because it's that shocking. There's not that many shocking moments. It's just a fun adventure, and ultimately that's what's most important. So, what did you think? Let me know. Thank you, and we'll talk soon in the future.